Hi everyone, it's Pete here again from the Pain Toolkit, and back with you on another Instagram live tonight. And not guest tonight, but I'll be doing the Instagram live with Gronya Daniels. I'm just gonna log her in, and just bear with me. And she's so hopefully we join. Anyway, hope everybody's had a great day, and there she comes. Here you go.
Hi, Pete.
I was filling in a little bit for you there while you're doing stuff.
No worries.
So, Bronya, thanks very much for going live with me tonight. I think we're going to be doing another one tomorrow night because I think we've got
Yeah,
some extra and important information
yeah.
to do another one. But can I? I know you're going to be one of the. Can I just introduce you to everyone? I've known Gronya for quite a few years now. I think I did a
Yeah.
workshop up at Norwich Hospital years ago, and but she's become quite a vital colleague, really, delivering the supportive self-management messages to everyone. And Granya's been she works with me behind the scenes on the conferences where she collates the questions, but I've got her in front of the camera at this conference on the 25th.
Yeah.
So I know she's going to be doing a little bit behind the scenes, but Grania, so can you tell the viewers and listeners what you're actually going to be presenting about?
Well, what I was thinking that is really, really important and that I think can get lost in the messages whenever we um, are talking about different things. You know, we can get stuck in thinking about it's got to be about chronic pain, or it's got to be about a different long-term condition, whether it's asthma or diabetes, or
Mm,
it might be chronic fatigue, or it might be any number of different things, or it could be things like addiction or alcoholism, any kind of long-term thing that affects people, and they have to learn essentially anything that you've got to learn to live with. And we can get bogged down sometimes in thinking that we need to be really, really specialist about our particular thing to be able to help and support people. And we need to, have really sort of specialist information. And actually, there's so much commonality between the basic strategies that seem to work and that are meaningful for dealing with and living well with any long-term condition, which is what our new supported self-management toolkit stuff is all about.
yeah,
And that really seems to boil down to sort of an acceptance of where you are and what you've got and what you're dealing with, which can be really hard for people. But that's where either healthcare professionals or friends and family can help people get to that point of accepting that this is where you are, this is the new normal, this is what we're dealing with. And then an acknowledgement and an understanding and addressing the fact that this isn't where somebody wants to be. They don't want to be in that situation. They don't want to be living with that. It's not enough to just accept it, but we all have to find ways to acknowledge
yeah,
the challenges of doing that. And then it really is about taking one step at a time, taking one day at a time. Again, we can get bogged down sometimes with sort of getting people to think months in advance, or going sort of like going big, or sort of getting very caught up in larger, grander things. But actually, to really successfully self-manage stuff, as you know very well, Pix, it's what you've done for so many years. It's about just putting one foot in front of the other, taking one single day at a time, knowing that there's going to be days when things go backwards, when it isn't
yeah,
always how you want it to be. But it's that kind of commitment to just taking those small, meaningful steps every day and trying to keep moving forward, rather than moving backwards. And that can look like different things to different people. Of course, it will, and it'll look slightly different for different conditions.
yeah,
But actually, the more I look at different conditions as well as just where I'd always traditionally focused on pain as a clinician, the more I realized that actually for so many challenges that we face in life, whether it's physical health, mental health, just general stuff that happens to us in life,
Yeah.
The keys to managing and living with all of it is those really basic, simple things. And actually, what I sort of want to talk about on the conference is really how can healthcare professionals in a consultation where you're actually supposed to be focusing on one thing, or you're maybe supposed to be that expert, how can you help people to work through and find some of those basic strengths and things that they will be able to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's where life's taken me. What do you think about that? Those
Well,
basic steps, one day at a time.
I'll tell you, that's really put that little saying I learned that years ago, back in the mid-80s, actually, for another healthcare condition I've been living with since the mid-80s. And funny enough, I was replying to Katie Frost this afternoon, because she did a nice little video, I think, this morning, about managing, and sometimes we have dodgy days, crappy days, or whatever, and I think the message I said is, it's like the weather, isn't it? You can have good days and bad days, but it's how we deal with those stuff, but take it one step at a time. And you sometimes, in dark days, things that get dark. And it was for me back in the day, like when I was struggling with persistent pain. And you think, oh God, is this ever going to end? But I think when you start getting into action, you work with a healthcare professional,
Yeah.
get a plan together. I was lucky enough, I got myself, as you know, on a pain management program. They gave that program gave me the life skills, gave me the tools, skills, but the confidence to manage my pain myself. But it's got to be a collaboration, and that's why that's what I
Absolutely.
like. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. It's
You
like
can't,
learn. It's like
sorry, you can't do it by yourself, can you?
no,
Not always.
no, no.
You're the person who's got to live with, people have got to find ways to live well
Yeah,
with their condition, but actually it's not bad or wrong or unnecessary
um,
to reach out for help and support with that.
mm,
Um, but I think, that feeling of hopelessness can often creep
yeah,
in, especially in healthcare systems that are designed to keep people waiting. They wait months for something,
yeah,
they wait years for something at times, and we can often get stuck into that worry about the future being really big, and
yeah,
that can lead to getting really stuck. And
yeah,
actually
yeah,
paring it right down to going, this is about today. What can you do? What can you get up and do today that will move you that little bit
yeah,
further forward? And then tomorrow is another day. The sun's going to go down, the sun's
yeah,
then going to come back
yeah,
up again.
yeah,
It's a new day, it's a clean slate, it's a fresh start. You can apply it. They're simple life skills in some ways, but I think we can get lost in them because we get lost in thinking that stuff needs to be so much more complicated, and there has to be all this really high tech medical jargon, and there
yeah,
needs to be all of this other stuff in and around with it. And
yeah,
actually, when you strip all of the things back, often that clinicians are talking about, all of the fancy jargon, all of the words, when you really strip each of those things back, it's about accepting where you are at the moment and knowing that it's not where you want to be, and acknowledging that and working through that, and then moving forward, taking one step at a time. And I think there's a lot that healthcare professionals probably can do without realizing it in clinical appointments, even short ones, to help
mm,
people get focused back on into that rather than getting
yeah,
focused out into the weeds of long-term sort of plans and long-term strategies.
yeah. I was Scott Harrington. I work with on the website. He's our web guy. And I think because I was hanging around you guys too much, like the healthcare professionals, I sort of got into the habit of giving people loads of information, And, and the thing is, and he pulled me up on it. He said, "Less is more,"
Mm.
and I really took that on board. Like that's why both of the pain toolkit websites and self management toolkit websites, they're popular now because it's got just basic information in there. It's not overwhelming because living with a long-term condition, it can be overwhelming. So
Absolutely.
keeping it simple, giving information in bite-sized pieces. I think most of us people with long-term conditions, we're visual learners, so I use quite like this, using this platform, get the messages out there. So anyway, the one who's going to be on the conference, I think might be our third or fourth speaker. I can't remember now, but it's a conference is on the 25th of April, so it's not long to go now. A couple of weeks' time, 9 o'clock in the morning, through till probably about 12:30, something like that. Hey, listen, it's a donation only. If you can't make it, don't worry. If you live in some part of the world where the time don't suit you, just still register, because everyone who registers will get a recorder, the actual video recording, and also an audio version as well for those who like learning just by listening, etc. Or perhaps when you might want to listen to it while you're doing a bit of gardening or DIY or whatever,
Absolutely.
So Granya's gonna come back with me tomorrow. Tomorrow night we're gonna be talking about a couple of the presenters,
Yeah.
Sean Brand and I can't remember your friend's name.
Irene.
Irene.
Yeah.
So Grania, I'll be talking about, not talking about, mentioning Sean Brand.
Yeah.
She's excellent, and also Irene. You can do that one. So thanks everybody for watching, listening, and we'll see you tomorrow night and on another Instagram live. Take care. Have a groovy evening. Ciao. Bye.
Bye.